actually live when I probably am, but what am I supposed to do? They're giving me conflicting information. Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to Tea. Oh, it's going to be an interesting day. Hello and welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I'll be your librarian today. Okay, so first of all, my tea today, I have two teas because I was very prepared. And the reason I'm very prepared is because I've had caffeine. So I have my iced tea, but I also have my Tazo lemon loaf herbal tea, which is one of my favorites. So that's waiting on deck for when I need some throat soothing. Today we're going to talk about romance and historical fiction. I love how I paused there, like I have to really pull this from deep in my memory and not like I have notes all over me that say romance and historical fiction on them. But hey, that's just how live streams work. And we're going to start off with your favorite part of Tea and New Book Tuesday and my biggest stress in the last week, which is the giveaway. Facebook is, let's just sum this up with, I can no longer ask you to enter the giveaway in the comments because I've had two people email me and tell me that their comments just aren't appearing, even when their comments are exactly what I asked them to put in there and what everyone else is putting in the comments, which is the name of a book they want and the MPO location they're picking it up at. And yet their comment gets hidden and even I can't see it, which means I genuinely don't know. I don't know who's trying to enter the giveaway because it's giving me inaccurate information, basically. I know there was something wrong for maybe 2 weeks because the number of comments it would put at the top and then the actual number of comments didn't match. And the number up here was always bigger. So I don't know what they're up to. I don't know why they're doing it. And I kind of don't care. I can't trust them. So I've made a different plan. This is my plan. What we're going to do, let me share my screen so you have any idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, I am live. I know. So I need to share my screen. That's what I need to share my screen. I have made a form that you can go to and fill out in order to see or to enter the giveaway. So the link will be in the description. I will also add the link to this form in the comments, but again, maybe it'll show up in the comments, maybe it won't. Either way, you are going to go to this form and you put in your name and you tell me how you want to be contacted if you're one of the winners, email, text, or phone. Then you put in your phone or your email so I can contact you how you'd like, which MPL location you would like for pickup, and this week's giveaways, which I have 5 this week. And I've got the name of the book, the author, and a brief description. You can only choose one of those. I've also noted which one is a pre-order. Anthem comes out in January. I'll describe the books in a minute, but I'm just showing you the form right now. So this is the nice thing about doing it this way, is I have a ton of leftover books. And I know that the nature of Tea New Book Tuesday means that sometimes you watch because I'm covering your favorite genre, but you might skip a week if you're busy or you're not interested in that genre. It's not something you read very often, but you might have missed a giveaway because of it. So I have all these leftover books, and if you want some of them, this end of the form is just going to be first come, first serve. You'll go ahead and pick up to 3, and I will send them to you. And then you hit submit at the bottom, which I should show you. Yeah. So you pick what you want to pick, and then you hit submit, and it will send it to me. I'm going to have I'm going to have this form open until noon tomorrow. So a little more than 24 hours for you to enter the giveaway. Tomorrow afternoon, probably around 1 or 2. I will choose the winner of the newer book at random. So if nobody asked for one of the 5 books from this week, let's look at the 5 books from this week while we're talking about this. If only one person asks for example, the Archer, that person automatically gets the Archer. If several people have asked for it, I'll put your names in a hat and pull it out, and then we'll see who gets the book. And as I said, all of these other books are just going to be first come, first serve. So if you picked some down here, especially if you pick like 3, you're going to get something. It's unlikely that everyone watching would pick the same 3. And I have a couple of copies of Fuzz. I think that's the only one I have multiple copies of. Everything else I have the 1 copy. But let's talk about what these 5 books from today actually are. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing because I don't need that screen. Okay. First up is I Wished by Dennis Cooper. For most of his life, this is a novel, by the way. So I think the author's doing a fictionalized version of his own life. And anyway, for most of his life, Dennis Cooper believed the person he had loved the most and would always love above all others was George Miles. In his first novel in 10 years, Dennis Cooper writes about Miles, love, loss, addiction, suicide, and how fiction can capture these things, and how it fails to capture them. Candid and powerful, I Wished is a radical work of shifting forms. It includes appearances by Santa Claus, land artist James Turnell, sentient prairie dogs, John Wayne Gacy, Nick Drake, and George, the muse for Cooper's acclaimed novels Closer, Frisk, Try, Guide, and Period, collectively known as the George Miles cycle. In revisiting the inspiration for the cycle, Dennis has written a masterwork, the most raw, personal, and haunted book of his career. So that's I Wished. Next up is Palmares by Gail Jones. So, intricate and compelling, Palmares recounts the journey of Almeida, 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 Almeyda. Anyway, a Black slave girl who comes of age on Portuguese plantations and escapes in search of a fugitive slave settlement called Palmares. Following its destruction, Almeida embarks on a journey across colonial Brazil to find her husband lost in battle. Her story brings to life a world impacted by greed, conquest, and colonial desire. Among many others in her travel through Brazil, she encounters a mad lexicographer, a dangerous widow, a village of women who worship a male god living in a nearby cave, and a medicine woman who indoctrinates Almeida in the secrets of great magic. Combining the Arthur's mastery of language and voice with her unique brand of mythology and magical realism, Jones reimagines the historical novel. The result is a sweeping saga spanning a quarter of a century, with vibrant settings and unforgettable characters steeped in rich oral tradition of this world. Of Gail Jones, the New Yorker recently noted, her greatest achievement is to reckon with both history and interiority, and to collapse the boundary between them. Like nothing else before it, Palmares embodies this gift. So that's Palmares. This came out in September. So did I Wished. I feel like I've given away a copy of this before. I feel like it got snatched up. But this is In Women We Trust by N.H. Sakura. In a society corrupted by violence and thwarted by a backlash of post-war extremism, there is no honest government to turn to. The owner of a large estate in a conservative part of war theater, with an even larger amount of power, calls for a trial with unspeakable consequences after the son of his servant is caught in an unholy embrace with his daughter. Later, the leader of the town's largest mosque, renowned for his firebrand sermons and radical idealism, is called forth to gather a jury of sorts, along with a morally conflicted journalist. In his heart-wrenching account of hellish circumstances, the story critiques the issues of patriarchy, the mistreatment of women and the weak, and a debased government, all with the insurmountable compassion for its people, the culture, and the unrelenting hope for a better life. So that's In Women We Trust. Next up is the one with probably the prettiest cover of the day, The Archer by Shruti Swami. I think that's the name right there. There we go. Okay. And they hid my description in here. Okay. As a child, Vidya exists to serve her family, watch over her younger brother, and make sense of a motherless world. One day, she catches sight of the class where the students are learning Ketchuk, a precise, dazzling form of dance that requires the utmost discipline and focus. Kathak, K-A-T-H-A-K. Kathak. Anyway, quickly becomes the organizing principle of Vidya's life. Even as she leaves home for college, falls in love with her best friend, and battles demands on her time, her future, and her body. Can Fidelia give herself over to her art and also be a wife in Bombay's carefully delineated society? Can she shed the legacy of her own imperfect, unknowable mother? Must she herself also become a mother? Intensely lyrical and deeply sensual, with writing as rhythmically mesmerizing as Kathak itself, The Archer is about the transformative power of art and the possibilities that love can open when we're ready. So that's The Archer. And the final one I actually can't describe to you because it has weirdly arrived wrapped in plastic. So I assume it's just the book in here. I don't know if they have other marketing materials in here as well, but it's called Anthem by Noah Hawley, who is the author of Before the Fall, and he also created the television show Fargo. So if you're a fan of Fargo, you might be interested in this. I've got the description from the Goodreads page in the form. And that one, and this comes out January 18th. I think I have a different date. I have January 4th. But anyway, it comes out in January. So that's Anthem by Noah Wiley. If you want any of these, you're going to need to fill out the form and hit submit in the next 24 hours. We should be good. All right, let's go ahead and look at this week's books. First, we'll go over here, and then we'll go over here, and then we'll do this. And we'll get a full screen. Here we go. All right, let's start with a romance. I have a handful of romance today, although it all looks pretty interesting. And in general, there's a lot of books coming out in January. I think the lull was December, maybe November. January is packed full. So in order to whittle down this list, I have chosen things that are unique or that already have a fair amount of critical acclaim. It's not hard to do. That's a big reason we buy books, is because they're well reviewed. Moving on to our first book, Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Ari Abrams has always been fascinated by the weather, and she loves almost everything about her job as a TV meteorologist. Anyway, her boss, legendary Seattle weather woman Taurus Hale, is too distracted by her tempestuous relationship with her ex, the station's news director, to give Ari the mentorship she wants. Ari, who runs on sunshine and optimism, is at her wit's end. The only person who seems to understand how she feels is sweet but reserved sports reporter Russell Barringer. In the aftermath of a disastrous holiday party, Ari and Russell decide to team up to solve their boss's relationship issues. Between secret gifts and double dates, they start nudging their bosses back together. But their well-meaning meddling backfires when the real chemistry builds between Ari and Russell. Working closely with Russell means allowing him to get to know parts of herself that Ari keeps hidden from everyone. Will he be able to embrace her dark clouds as well as her clear skies? This got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, so if you're interested in Weather Girl, it comes out January 11th. All right, Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. Recently divorced and on the verge of bankruptcy, Dahlia Woodson is ready to reinvent herself on the popular reality competition show, Chef's Special. Too bad the first memorable move she makes is falling flat on her face, sending fish tacos flying. Not quite the fresh start she was hoping for. Still, she's focused on winning until she meets someone whom she might want a future with more than she wants the prize money. After announcing their pronouns on national television, London Parker has enough on their mind without worrying about the klutzy competitor stationed in front of them. They're there to prove to the trolls, including a fellow contestant and their dad, wrong, and falling in love was never part of the plan. As London and Dahlia get closer, reality starts to fall away. Goodbye guilt about divorce, anxiety about uncertain futures, and stress from transphobia. Hello, hilarious shenanigans on set, wedding crashing, and spontaneous dips into the Pacific. But as the finale draws near, Dahlia and London's steamy relationship starts to feel the heat both in and outside the kitchen, and they must figure out if they have the real ingredients for a happily ever after. So, this is considered an LGBT romance. It got the star from Kirkus Magazine. If you're interested in love and other disasters, it comes out January 18th. All right. I thought this one was especially fun. It's book one in a new series. It's called Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall. Valentine Layton, the Duke of Malvern, has twin problems, literally. It was always his father's hope that Valentine would marry Miss Arabella Tarleton, but unfortunately too many novels at an impressionable age have caused her to grow up romantic. So romantic that a marriage of convenience will not do, and after Valentine's proposal, she flees into the night, determined to never set eyes on him again. Arabella's twin brother, Mr. Bonaventure Bonnie Tarleton, has also grown up romantic and fully expects Valentine to ride after Arabelle and prove to her that he's not the cold-hearted cad he seems to be. Despite copious misgivings, Valentine finds himself on a pell-mell chase to Dover with Bonnie by his side. Bonnie is unreasonable, overdramatic, annoying, and beautiful. And being with him makes Valentine question everything he thought he knew about himself, about love, even about which Tarleton he should be pursuing. So, if you're interested in a Regency era LGBT romance, Something Fabulous comes out January 25th. Moving on to our historical fiction, although the last one was kind of historical fiction, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by Andre Lewis Carter. This title has been used for other books before, which makes the search a little fussy. If you want to find it the easiest, go to our newsletter, Tia New Book Tuesday. If you click on the title, it'll take you to our catalog. The book will be there. Or you can search under Andre Lewis Carter, and you should get to the book pretty easily. Anyway, the Vietnam War is raging. The U.S. Navy has only recently begun the process of integration, and the country is reeling from racial turmoil and unrest. So why does Caesar, a street tough kid of Afro-Cuban descent, enlist in the Navy? He is on the run from a life of crime and from Mr. Mike, a charismatic sociopathic gangster who was once a mentor but has now turned on him. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Escaping into a Navy wrestling with its history of racism and sexism, Caesar realizes the absurdity of certain prejudices that seem as old as the U.S. Armed Forces. When he is deployed aboard the USS Kitty Hawk, racial tensions are high and are moving quickly towards violence. Through it all, Caesar's ever-growing sense of honor and self-worth force him to make moral decisions he never knew he was capable of. It's a fortitude he will desperately need. Okay, this got a starred review from Booklist. If you're interested in Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, it comes out January 1st. Okay, Beautiful Little Fools by Gillian Cantor. This is using F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby as its source material, but writing a story about the women in Gatsby's life. So, on a sultry August day in 1922, Jay Gatsby is shot dead in his West Egg swimming pool. To the police, it appears to be an open and shut case of murder-suicide when the body of George Wilson, a local mechanic, is found in the woods nearby. Then a diamond hairpin is discovered in the bushes by the pool, and 3 women fall under suspicion. Each holds a key that can unlock the truth to the mysterious life and death of this enigmatic millionaire. Daisy Buchanan once thought she might marry Gatsby before her family was torn apart by an unspeakable tragedy that sent her into the arms of the philandering Tom Buchanan. I'm fighting back a sneeze. Give it just a second. I'm drink. Okay. Jordan Baker, Daisy's best friend, guards a secret that derailed her promising golf career and threatens to ruin her friendship with Daisy as well. Catherine McCoy, a suffragette, fights for women's freedom and independence, and especially for her sister, Myrtle Wilson, who's trapped in a terrible marriage. Their stories unfold in the years leading up to the fateful summer of 1922, when all 3 of their lives are on the brink of unraveling. Each woman is pulled deeper into Jay Gatsby's romantic obsession, with devastating consequences for all of them. This got a starred review from Publishers Weekly. If you're interested in Beautiful Little Fools, it comes out January 4th. Yonder by Yabari Asim. They call themselves the Stolen. Their owners call them captives. They are taught the captor's tongue and their beliefs, but they have a language and rituals all their own. In a world that would be allegorical if it weren't saturated in harsh truths, Cato and William meet at Placid Hall, a plantation in an unspecified part of the American South. Subject to the whims of their tyrannical and eccentric captor, Cannonball Green, they never know what harm might befall them. Inhumane physical toil in the plantation's quarry by day, a beating by night, or the sale of a loved one at any moment. It's that cruel practice, the wanton destruction of love, the belief that Black people aren't even capable of loving, that hurts the most. It hurts the reserved and stubborn William, who finds himself falling for Margaret, a small but mighty woman with self-possession beyond her years. And it hurts Cato, whose first love, Iris, was sold off with no forewarning. He now finds solace in his hearty band of friends, including William, who is like a brother, Margaret, little Xander, and Milton, a gifted artist. There is also Pandora, with thick braids and long limbs, whose beauty calls to him. Their relationships begin to fray when a visiting minister with a mysterious past starts to fill their heads with ideas about independence. He tells them that with freedom comes the right to choose the small things, when to dine, when to begin and end work, as well as the big things, such as whom and how to love. Do they follow the preacher and pursue the unknown? Confined in a landscape marked by deceit and uncertainty, who can they trust? This got a starred review from Publishers Weekly. If you're interested in Yonder, it comes out January 11th. All right, Box 88 by Charles Cumming. 1989. The fall of the Berlin Wall is imminent, and the Cold War will soon be over. But for Box 88, a top-secret spying agency known only to the inner circle at MI6 and CIA operatives, the espionage game is heating up. Lachlan Kite, recruited straight from an elite boarding school, is sent to France, the front line of a new secret war. Kite is tasked with gathering intelligence on a mysterious Iranian businessman implicated in the tragic Lockerbie bombing, but what he uncovers is even more deadly. 2020, MI5 hears rumors of Box 88's existence and go after Kite, only for Iranian intelligence to get to him first. Taken captive and subjected to torture, Kite is presented with a simple choice. Reveal the truth about what happened in France 30 years earlier, or watch his family die. This got starred reviews from Kirkus, Library Journal, and Booklist. It is probably on the short list for one of the best books of 2020. If you're interested in, 2022. Oh, not like I want to go back to 2020 anyway. But yeah, Box 8 comes out January 11th. Okay. The Torqued Man by Peter Mann. Berlin, September 1945. Two manuscripts are found in rubble, each one narrating conflicting versions of the life of an Irish spy during the war. One of them is the journal of a German military intelligence officer and would-be opponent of Hitler named Adrian de Groot, charting his relationship with his agent, friend, and sometimes lover, an Irishman named Frank Pike. In de Groot's narrative, Pike is a charismatic IRA fighter sprung from prison in Spain to assist with the planned German invasion of Ireland, but who never gets the chance to consummate his deal with the devil. Meanwhile, the other manuscript gives a very different account of the Irishman's doings in the Reich. Assuming the alter ego of the Celtic hero Finn McCool, Pike appears here as the ultimate Allied saboteur. His mission, an assassination campaign of high-ranking Nazi doctors, culminating in the killing of Hitler's personal physician. The two manuscripts spiral around each other, leaving only the reader to know the full truth of Pike and de Groot's relationship, their ultimate loyalties, and their efforts to resist the fascist reality in which they are caught. This is a debut novel, so it's Peter Mann's first novel, and it got a starred review from Kirkus. If you're interested in The Torqued Man, it comes out January 11th. All right, I think this is our second to last. It is. So we're getting through it. Small World by Jonathan Evision. Jonathan Evision's Small World is an epic novel for now, set against such iconic backdrops as the California Gold Rush, the development of the Transcontinental Railway, and a speeding train of modern-day strangers forced together by fate. It is a grand entertainment that asks big questions. The characters of Small World connect in the most intriguing and meaningful ways, winning, breaking, and winning our hearts again. In exploring the passengers' lives and those of their ancestors more than a century before, Small World chronicles 170 years of American nation building from numerous points of view across time and place. The result is a grand entertainment that asks whether our nation has made good on its promises. It dazzles as its characters come to connect with one another through time, and it hits home as it probes at our country's injustices, big and small, straight through to its deeply satisfying final words. This got a starred review from both Booklist and Kirkus. If you're interested in Small World, it comes out January 11th. All right, our final book of the day, The Stars Are Not Yet Bells by Hannah Lilith Asadi. Off the coast of Georgia, near Savannah, generations have been tempted by strange blue lights in the sky near an island called Lyra. At the height of World War II, impressionable young Ellie Rainier comes to the island with her new husband, Simon, is dispatched by his industrial father to find the source of the mysterious lights. There they will live for decades, raising a family while enjoying much of the island's population in an idealistic campaign to find and exploit the exclusive minerals rumored to lurk offshore. 50 years later, as Simon's businesses is shuttered in disarray, Ellie looks back on her life on the mysterious island and at a secret she herself has guarded for decades. As her memory recedes, her life seems a tangle of questions. How did the business survive so long without ever finding the legendary Lyra stones? How did her own life crumble under treatment for depression? And what became of the other man they brought to the island, handsome, raffish Gabriel, who risked everything to follow the light to its source? With echoes of We Are Not Ourselves, The Stars Are Not Yet Bells is a darkly romantic story of the tantalizing, faithless relationship between ourselves and the lives and souls we leave behind. This got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, and if you're interested in The Stars Are Not Yet Bells, it comes out January 11th. All right, that is it for today. Don't forget to go to the form and enter the giveaway if you're interested in some free books. And if you're here, I assume you are. If you get a chance to sign up for our newsletter, Teen New Book Tuesday, the link is also in the description for that. And join us on Goodreads for the Goodreads group, which continues to grow. Next week, we're going to talk about science fiction, fantasy, and horror, which is always my favorite. Until then, have a good week. All right, see you guys.